Cardin and Senator Crapo and I are going to give the retirement bill a very high priority. Good work. Senator Portman's next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for your focus on the retirement policy front, as well as the Ranking Member Crapo, and to Senator Cardin. Thank you for asking the question. I appreciate your willingness to continue to provide technical assistance to us and get through this. This is one of the great bipartisan opportunities we have that actually help the people we represent at a time when people's savings are under more and more stress, and during COVID, a lot of people took money out of their savings. This will help them save for their own retirement through private retirement, and deals with really the 4 or 5 concerns that on a bipartisan basis all of us have raised with regard to the retirement system. And so thank you for working with us on that, and thanks you to Senator Cardin for raising it. On the issue of foreign tax credits, I'm very concerned with the new regulations, in particular the lack of notice and comment that went into the final draft of that. It's a pretty simple issue to me because countries all around the world provide foreign tax credits, so there's not double taxation. So if a U.S. company pays taxes overseas, you don't want to double up and have them pay taxes here, because we want more U.S. companies to do business overseas. I'll give you an example. In my hometown of Cincinnati, Procter & Gamble has over 10,000 employees. 40% of those workers support global sales, international sales outside of the United States. So this is great for us. A lot of those are service jobs, back office jobs, high-paying jobs, by the way, white-collar jobs that help strengthen our Ohio economy. But this happens all over the country. And so my concern is that the interest in avoiding double taxation is compromised when you look at these new regulations. Post TCJA, which was 2017, we saw that if businesses are able to compete and workers are able to compete, they do pretty well. In fact, we had a lot more money come back into this country because of that, and we stopped inversions altogether, something all of us, were wringing our hands about and being very concerned about, which is companies literally becoming foreign companies to avoid the tax laws here. We stopped them, shut them down. So I think what you're doing right now with these new regulations is pulling us in the wrong direction and back to where we were not competitive. So I appreciate you've indicated you want to make changes to the cost recovery and royalty withholding portion of the rules, but I also understand that you've indicated you will not be amending the rules dealing with the creditability, the ability to take credits with regard to withholding taxes on services. And again, that's a lot of what we do in this country. So my question to you would be, one, do you agree with me that we want to have global companies here in America that are expanding jobs here and therefore taking advantage of what, again, the global community does, which is these tax credits, including for services? Or are we just on a different philosophical plane here? If so, that'd be helpful to know. And second, would you be willing to take a look at these regulations as they relate to services in particular to help protect jobs here, and look at particularly further modifications for withholding taxes on services?
So let me say first, of course, we will look at any concrete suggestions that you have and work with you. We understand that there are concerns about these regulations, and we certainly will revisit them and look at comments. But philosophically, let me say, we think that these regulations are very important to protect critical interests of the United States. And the fundamental principle is that we should allow a credit for foreign taxes only where the foreign taxing jurisdiction has the primary right to tax the income. And what we're seeing around the world are new kinds of taxes, like digital service taxes, where foreign countries are essentially trying to expand their taxing jurisdiction through extraterritorial type taxes. And these are taxes that should not be entitled to take the foreign tax credit. And if we grant it, we're just encouraging countries to impose taxes that we think, in the case of digital service taxes, we've found them to be unfair trade practices.
Well, Madam Secretary, let me interrupt just for a second because I have a limited time. I don't disagree with you on the digital services taxes. That's not the issue here, and I understand your position on that, and I tend to share your position that American companies have been unfairly targeted with regard to digital services taxes. I'm talking about withholding taxes with regard to services. And I think it's important that we have final regulations that have received notice and comment, from American workers through American companies, because it's very different than the initial regulations in that regard. So that's the issue I'm focused on today.
Well, we certainly work with you on that, and we're reaching out and understanding what the concerns are about
One
these
idea,
rules
has been
and-
floated as a one-year delay to give us a chance to actually get the notice and comment and understand it better. I hope you would consider that.
The time, my friend, has expired, and did you want to respond to that, Secretary Yellen?
I was just going to say that if there are changes, they can be applied on a retroactive basis.
Very good. Thank you. Senator Daines?